Welcome back to what I now call part 4 of me refinishing my almost 100-year-old cedar chest, which is in fact 90 years old. Knew when it came to refinishing my chest, I didn't want to paint it. I wanted to stain it, but I didn't want to do the traditional red mahogany type color. You know, that one that you see primarily on like 80s and 90s era style furniture, because the veneer that is on top of this cedar chest is in fact mahogany. I wanted to stick with something dark, something rustic, but I also didn't want to cover up the beautiful veneer that is currently on this chest itself. While I am not 100% sure what is officially on this chest, but back in the day most things were either finished with a varnish or a shellac. So in keeping with that style, I wanted to at least darken up the wood so it didn't turn out red, but not darken it too much that I couldn't see the beautiful veneer. So the first thing I did was just take mineral spirits to the bare wood just to get an idea of what it could look like if I kept it simple, kept it without staining it. In all honesty, I was not a fan of what the wood looked like just like that. So I decided to do a stain. So as you saw when this video first started, I was putting some stain on some mahogany just to see what it would look like. And then my next step was to determine if I was going to go water-based or oil-based on that stain. I ended up going with oil-based because I had read a few articles talking about how older woods took oil-based stains better than they took water-based. So the first thing I did before I stained was put an oil-based wood conditioner on the wood. It also read that mahogany is somewhat porous and might blotch when staining. So I did not want to risk that. If you've seen what pine does when you stain it without putting a wood conditioner on, I didn't want to get that same effect. So I let that wood conditioner dry for at least a half hour before I went and put on my stain. Ended up going with Early American, and I have to admit, this video does not do any of this justice of how beautiful it made that wood look. It brought out just as much brown as I wanted it to without it looking too dark, but it did not diminish the beauty of the wood underneath. And the good thing was it did not pull out too much of the red that I was trying to avoid. Then I let the stain set and cure for a couple days before I went in and I tried to cover up some of the filled in wood holes with some wood wax and coloring. Definitely not an artiste, but I think it turned out fairly well. But anyways, come back for the next part because it looks beautiful.